friends, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm sitting down and I'm going to be ranking my Anastasia Beverly Hills palettes. I'm super excited for this video. I love ranking style videos. I think they're so much fun to create, to watch, all of the above. I have 8 of them here that we're going to be ranking from worst / my least favorite to best / my favorite. Before we get started, don't forget to upload every Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday for you guys. If you like this video while you're watching it, please go ahead and give it a big thumbs up. It really does help my channel out. And other than that, if you are excited and you want to see my Anastasia Beverly Hills palette ranking video, then let's go ahead and get started. I have done quite a few of these palette ranking videos in the past. I've done ColourPop, Natasha Denona, Huda Beauty, drugstore palettes, so I can have all of those linked down below in case you missed them and you want to check out other palette ranking videos for me from other brands. I definitely plan on doing my Pat McGrath palettes coming up soon. I just need a little bit more time to play with them. I've acquired quite a few new palettes in a very short span of time, and I just need to play with them more before I feel comfortable ranking them. So be on the lookout for that in the next couple of months. But today, like I said, we are focusing on Anastasia Beverly Hills palettes. They used to be like the it brand when it came to palettes. I feel like they could not launch a palette without it completely selling out and everyone freaking out about it. And I feel like they have kind of fallen off a little bit recently, which makes me sad. I'm hoping they can revamp and like get back to the top because they have a really beautiful eyeshadow formulation. And for the most part, their color stories are stunning. And I really enjoy most of these. Like, honestly, all of these palettes I like and I enjoy and I reach for from time to time. But obviously there's going to be some that I like way more than others. Hence why this is a ranking video. You guys know the drill. So in number 8, my least favorite Anastasia Beverly Hills palette that I own is this one right here. And it is in collaboration with Carly Bible. I genuinely like Carly Bible. I feel like I don't necessarily watch her videos as much as I used to. She used to be my top creator that like I watched all of the time back in like my early 20s when I was still living at home. So like her channel is very nostalgic for me. It was like in the beginning of my real true love of makeup, starting to watch YouTube tutorials, which here I am all these years later still watching them and now creating them myself. So she's very nostalgic for me. I will always love her and her channel, but this palette sadly just doesn't do it for me. First of all, the outer packaging is just interesting. I don't love all the like dots and bubbles sort of. I mean, it's cute. I like the pink and gold. I think obviously pink and gold is a really cute color story to have, hence my makeup room, which is all pink and gold. But I don't know, just this is weird. And then the inside, I like this color story, I truly do, but I just never reach for this palette. And when I do, I kind of struggle with it a little bit. At the time when I purchased this, a lot of these shades at the top were very unique to me and my collection. But since getting this like 2 years ago or so, I have acquired other palettes that have these sort of tones in them. I'm thinking the Huda Beauty Mercury Retrograde palette, also the Huda Beauty Rose Quartz palette. And I just think that that formulation is better. And then these like shimmers down here, a couple of them are just a little, I don't want to say chunky, but they have a ton of fallout. That's kind of a theme I feel like that I'm going to sense in some of these palettes. I'm going to mention that more than once, that their shimmers have a lot of fallout, but they are really pretty on the eyes. And I will say this gold right here, this Mousse shade, is one of my favorite golds ever. Just overall, the color story just is a little bit confusing to me. The main thing I love about it is this red shade and then this gold shade, but I don't really reach into like a red shadow very much, and I have a ton of golds. So I don't ever really think to reach into this palette, so I don't use it very often. And then like I said, when I do, I just kind of struggle a little bit. So sadly, this is in 8th place, last place. In 7th place, we have this ABH Norvina collection palette. I'm going to include the Norvina collection under the ABH umbrella just to let you know, but this is their Mini Pro Pigment Palette Volume 2. So I love this palette. I truly do. It's in 7th place because of the color story. I just really never reach for this very often. I wanted this palette a lot though. I asked for it for my birthday from my sister like 2 or 3 years ago, I think 2 years ago at this point. And I was so pumped that she ended up purchasing it for me. It's a beautiful palette, but like I said, I just don't reach into these like bright neon sort of shades very often. When I do, when I have the hankering to make a neon look, this is the palette that I reach into, and I definitely want to make a point to play with this more often coming up in the spring and summer months. But as of like a palette that I reach for very often, a color story I reach for very often, this is not it. When I do though, the pigmentation is there, the colors are beautiful, they blend together nicely for how like bright and bold they are. I do wish there was one more shimmer in here, maybe more of a like lighter sort of champagne-y shimmer that would go with any of these neon colors, but that's okay. If I absolutely need that, I can reach into another palette. But yeah, it's mainly the color story for this, but it is a beautiful, bright palette, and I really do like it. In sixth place, we have the palette that I used on my eyes today, and actually, this might come as a surprise to a lot of you guys that this palette is as low as it is, but it's the Modern Renaissance palette. Don't get me wrong, I really do like this palette, but I feel like the color story for me is a little confusing. So when this first launched, what was that, like 6-7 years ago at this point, and it like broke the internet and like made the makeup scene kind of blow up from this palette. This was really the palette that, this and the Naked palette, I feel like really brought palettes onto the scene, really caused a lot of people to get into makeup and all of that. I didn't purchase this palette back then. I didn't try it back then. I wasn't part of like the craze when it first launched. I actually picked this up like 2 years ago on sale during the holidays. I was pumped I got it on sale. But when I look at this color story, it kind of confuses me a little bit. I almost don't know like what direction to go, because we have these like 2 pink shades that are very, very similar. And then we have a whole bunch of warm shades, but then some random like cool shades. And I just feel like it's almost hard for me to find a really cohesive eye look, minus what I did today. And what I did today was I took golden ochre and then this burnt orange shade and put that into my crease. I then took Real Gar, I believe, and then red ochre right here onto the corner and up into the crease. And then I mixed together Vermeer and Primavera as my shimmer. But other than making like this warm tone fall-y eye look, I don't really know what to do with this palette, you know what I mean? I definitely need to play with it more. I will say that. I need to deep dive into it more, play with it more, try to learn the color story a little bit better. But as of right now and how much I have reached for it, I don't know. I just don't really love it. I will say I'm digging this look right now though. I'm like channeling fall and like the fall-y sort of tones, and I'm here for it. I did not film myself getting ready today. I just kind of relaxed and got ready, but I will have all of my makeup listed and linked down below in case you are curious. But overall, yeah, this has to fall in the 6th place. I just don't reach for it very often. I'm a little confused by the color story. It's beautiful. I like it. I get pretty looks, but I don't know. It's just like not a favorite. Next up in 5th place, we have the Soft Glam palette. Honestly, this one and Modern Renaissance could have been interchanged. I kind of wanted to like put them in the same spot, but I obviously couldn't. This is a ranking style video. So I put it in 5th place above Modern Renaissance only because I feel like this color story is a little bit more cohesive for me. They're very similar, and I probably could get this pretty much same look out of this palette. So again, they're kind of interchangeable. But like I said, I just feel like this color story is a little bit more cohesive. I look at this and I'm less confused on what kind of color story to do. They're pretty much all warm tones. Also, this one has more shimmers, which I do enjoy. Modern Renaissance only has 2 shimmers out of the 14 shades, and this one has 5 out of the 14 are shimmers, which I personally just enjoy that more. I love a shimmery eye look, so I like to have the options of more shimmers to it. So that's another reason I wanted to rank this a little bit higher. Overall, I do love this palette. I do think it's beautiful. I can get very beautiful looks with it. But again, it's just kind of one that like sits on my shelf and I don't really think to reach for it very often, which is a bummer because when I do, I like my looks, but I just like would reach for a lot of other palettes over this one. I struggled kind of hard with the 4th and 3rd place palettes because I absolutely love them both, and I feel like kind of like Soft Glam and Modern Renaissance, these two are pretty much interchangeable, but I love them more than those other 2 palettes. But in 4th place, I put the Sultry palette. This palette is stunning. I don't know why ABH made this limited edition. I mean, in their defense, it was available for like 2 or 3 years before they finally got rid of it. So if you wanted to get your hands on it, you had an ample opportunity to do so, but I just think it should be permanent. It's such a beautiful palette. I absolutely love the outside packaging. I think it's beautiful, that shimmery glitter sort of look, but it's not scratchy or annoying to hold in your hands. And then the inside shades are just beautiful. I love this color story. I love all the cool tones in it. You guys know I'm a cool tone fan. I just think this color story is so beautiful. I love the pop of pink. I think it's very inspiring and it makes me like want to use it with these other shades. It makes me like kind of step outside. Not that pink is outside my comfort zone, but just like this one pop of pink with all these shades, I feel like gets my creative juices flowing. The shimmers in this palette are out of this world, and they're not too thick. A lot of times ABH shimmers are a little bit on the thicker side, like in Carly Bible, Soft Glam, Modern Renaissance. They are thicker. That formulation is just, I don't even know how to explain. Literally, besides saying that it's thicker, that's the only way I really can think to explain it. But they're beautiful. They are very opaque. You don't need to go in with a lot, which is nice. but you will have fallout on the face. I find that these ones are less like that, if that makes sense. They're a little bit easier to use. They're not as thick, but they are still opaque. They're just not as much fallout and as much fuss when you're using them. And this is another color story that I think is very cohesive and very easy and simple to use. I look at this, I'm not confused. I know what kind of looks I can make, and I know that whatever looks I do make are going to be beautiful. I love this palette. I kind of got this as like a buzzer beater palette. I got it right when it was ending and going out of stock and like going away forever, and I snagged it half price, which I was so sneaking excited about. That's another thing I want to say. Get your ABH palettes on sale. I believe I got all of these on sale. Most of them were 50% off. 2 of them were gifts from people. 2 of them I got in a set together. So like, I personally wouldn't really ever spend full price on an Anastasia Beverly Hills palette because they will always go on sale. So that's my tip from me to you. If you have your eye on any of these palettes, definitely wait for sale. Next up in third place, we have the Norvina palette. I love this palette so much. The outer packaging is so pretty. I actually like the like suede sort of packaging from ABH. I know some people don't because it gets dirty pretty easily and quickly, and it is kind of hard to clean, but I personally don't mind if my makeup gets dirty. That just kind of shows that I'm using it and loving it, and I'm okay with it. And then the inside color story, you guys, is this not so stinking beautiful? I love this color story so much. I love the pinks. I love the purples. I love that it's a little bit more on the cool tone side. You have beautiful shimmers, but you also have some warm tones if you want to go with a warm tone look or like deepen it and make it a little bit sultry and sexy. There's a lot of variety with this palette. I actually plan sometime in the future, I don't know when, but sometime in the future to do a 1 week, 1 palette on this, because I do think I could get 5 really different looks out of this that are stunning and beautiful and wearable. Again, this is a little bit more shimmer heavy of a palette. The top rows are all shimmers, the bottom are all mattes, and I truly enjoy that. And I like that it's all shimmer, all mattes. Again, I think it's really easy. You look at this, you know what you're getting, you know what kind of eye looks. It's kind of easy to see this and know like what eyeshadows to pair together to make an eye look. So I think it's very intuitive for someone to pick up and use this palette and maybe not know a ton about makeup, or maybe be a little intimidated by eyeshadow palettes that are this large. Mattes blend beautifully. The shimmers are stunning. I cannot say enough good things about this palette. I love it so much. Alrighty, we're in the top 2. I've got 2 palettes left. I am in love with both of these. Like honestly, I feel like these are also interchangeable. I know I keep saying this. Obviously, ranking style videos are very fluid. What I rank it one day could be different the next day, but this is just the ranking that I went with for today. But in the second spot, I have the ABH and Jackie Aina palette. I have raved about this palette so many times on my channel, truly like a bajillion times. If you have been with me from the beginning of my channel, first of all, you're amazing. Thank you so much. I love you from the bottom of my heart. But second of all, you have heard me talk about this palette a bajillion times. The packaging, absolutely stunning. I cannot get over how beautiful that is. It's so stunning. And then the inside colors are just as stunning as the packaging. It is very deep and dark and rich. So someone with a fair skin tone like myself might look at this and be a little bit intimidated by the colors, which I can see. I kind of understand that. But keep in mind that Jackie Aina designed this palette for people with deeper skin tones. But I love that. I think that's amazing. And I also think it's amazing that it still works on me and my very fair skin. I just have to go in with a little bit lighter of a hand. Also, when you look at this color story, it looks a little bit all over the place. So I can see where maybe you would look at this and be a little confused on what eyeshadow looks to make. I feel like at first I was too. But once you like really deep dive in this palette and play with it, it is just so beautiful. All of the shades really do coincide together very nicely. You can make colorful looks. You can make more monochromatic looks. You can make just like chill, everyday, easy, wearable looks. You can take it there with the shimmers. Like this is a very versatile palette as well. And this color story, every time I use this, my eyeshadow turns out beautiful and I feel beautiful in it. Like I wear this palette and I don't struggle with it and I feel pretty and I like the looks I come up with, and I just, oh, I love it so much. And last but certainly not least, in my number 1 spot, we have the Primrose palette. You guys, if you have had your eye on the Primrose palette and you're on the fence and you don't know if you should pick it up, I 1,000,000% recommend this palette. I did not think I was going to love it as much as I do, but man, this palette has just stolen my heart. This is a very easy eyeshadow palette. When you look at it, it's got a ton of shades and tones that I feel like a lot of people would feel comfortable wearing on the daily basis. But you have enough variety as well. You have some warm tone shades, you have some like peachy shades, you have purple, you have pink, bronze. Like you can make quite a few different looks out of this, even though when you look at it just like off the bat, it looks like a very monochromatic story and they all look pretty similar. You can get pretty different eye looks out of it. These mattes are beautiful. They blend so effortlessly. The shimmers, I want to warn you, they are very chunky. Like truly, you are going to get fallout on your face even if you use some sort of like tacky base and a glitter primer. It's just going to happen. I definitely recommend doing your eyes first if you get this palette, but they will be so shimmery and impactful on your eyes and look so stunning that you're not even going to care that you're like getting fallout on your face. Also, these two blushes are beautiful. They go with whatever look you make so nicely. This is another one that I plan on doing a 1 week, 1 palette on it very soon. So be on the lookout for that probably within the next couple of weeks. And I cannot wait. I cannot wait to play with this more on camera for you guys. I feel like I've only used it in a couple videos like getting ready, and I can't wait to show you its like versatility and how many beautiful looks you can get out of it. I truly would recommend this to like anyone. I am in love. I'm in love with this palette. And that was it, you guys. That was my Anastasia Beverly Hills palette ranking video. All 8 of my palettes rank from worst to best. Honestly, I really recommend any of these to you guys. Maybe not the Carly Bible palette, which I don't think it's available anymore anyways, but I do love all these palettes. I do reach for them. I do love them, but you know, you gotta rank them. You gotta rank them from worst to best for you guys. Let me know down below in the comments if you own any of these or if you have your eye on any of these as well. I'm nosy. I love hearing from you guys down below in the comments. If you made it to the end of this video, thank you so much. You're awesome and I love you. Please subscribe if you have not yet, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye, guys.